I wish girls knew that we actually have feelings too. I wish girls knew that games are boring and playing hard to get is pointless. I wish girls knew that it's hot if they ask us out. I wish girls knew that checking in just to say hi makes our day. I wish girls knew that they have more power than they think they do. I wish girls knew that vulnerability is hot. I wish girls knew that guys know too.
Hey guys, it's Alana.
And Jonah.
And apparently our friend Mike. And welcome back for another episode of Seeing Other People. We got it at the same time.
It's because we're in the same room.
It is because we're in the same room, which apparently is not actually a good thing. We're struggling.
It's not conducive for everyone. Just to set the stage, we're in my apartment in Brooklyn.
I came to Brooklyn.
Alana came to Brooklyn. Alana is sitting on the couch behind a brick wall. And we've spent the past 45 minutes trying to figure out where the camera should go and how to record this thing. Turns out when you do video, you either just got to do it in a studio or you got to just, our Zoom method got so good that it just, you can't beat it. You can't beat the camera.
And we adapted to it too. Like we adapted to me being at my parents' house, you being in Long Island.
Yes.
Then we adapted to me being at my parents' house, you being in Brooklyn.
Correct.
Then we adapted to me being in my apartment when we recorded literally yesterday. And now we're in person and it's a whole new ball game. And at one point I was like, should I just go home?
Yeah.
Or should we go in separate rooms and do this over Zoom?
Well, for those at home who wonder how we do it over Zoom, we use a tool called Camo Pro, which is a way to connect your iPhone to your computer and use your iPhone as your main camera.
It's
great.
Then
we plug our mics into our computers using a Zoom device, not Zoom the app, a Zoom device. And between the iPhone camera and the Zoom device, you get perfect video and perfect audio.
And a perfect Alana.
And a perfect Alana. So we're here today. We're going to get right into it. Great episode ahead. No cutting corners in this one. We asked you guys, what do guys wish girls knew about guys? And
what do girls wish guys knew about girls?
And
wow.
Alana, we got some great stuff.
Wow. We were going over it before and we started reading them out loud and getting into like heated debates. And we're like, no, we have to save it.
Yeah, you got to save it. Have to save it for the podcast. In general, for the concept of this, what do you think going into this, before we read these out loud and come to our conclusions, what do you anticipate will be some of the major revelations?
I think there are a lot of things. Actually, I don't know because I didn't really analyze. Well, good. I didn't analyze both of the lists, but I think there are going to be a lot of things that are actually pretty similar. Okay. Just said in different ways. I think, again, as everything comes back to, as we've learned, I think a lot is going to be about communication. Okay. And I think that we're going to learn a lot.
I got one. What do you think? Let's each guess, right? So what do you think the most common thing for guys is going to be? And then I'm going to guess what I think the most common thing for girls will be.
Ooh. You go first.
I think the most common thing for women will be, and this is just because our audience is like primarily single people who are dating. I think it will be, don't lead us, some version of why we don't like it when you lead us on, which I guess isn't even makes sense. Something about leading people on.
Okay.
Again, I don't know.
On the flip side, I guess I think the guys one will be...
Take a guess, because we're about to learn. So
maybe something about like it's okay for girls to step up and like text and make a plan too. Okay, cool. We'll see. Well, I'm excited. Should we get right into it?
What's the best way to do this? Do you think alternating, or do we think let's do girls then guys?
Let's take a poll, listeners. What do you think? Yeah, just kidding. Also, wait. Side note: shout out to every single person who submitted something for this. All of your responses are so helpful and are going to be read out loud. Not every single one of them, but a lot of them. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to submit, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Seeing Other People, so that next time, like we really want these episodes to be for you and about whatever you need to talk about. So we want to include you as much as possible. So make sure you're staying up to date on our story. Also, a reminder, our episodes are all available in full-length video on YouTube, though this one's not going to look very pretty.
Yeah, I don't even know what this is going to look like.
And we are on TikTok at Seeing Other People. We are on Twitter at Seeing Other Peoples, PPLS. And
Patreon, obviously.
We have a Patreon. Please sign up.
Sign up. You want to, if it's just whether supporting us with like a cup of coffee, or you can, you can sign up to have your profile revamped by us helping you. You can get on a text thread with us for dating advice. You can get a hat, a sweatshirt, join our private episode of the month. A lot of great stuff on there. Hopefully giving back more than what you're giving. So I
was about to say that you could get the shirt off of Jonah's back right now, but then he would post more shirtless selfies, which the listeners have voted and they would like you to keep a shirt on.
The listeners, it was a mixed vote. Let's jump right in. I think we should do it section. So first men, then women, or vice versa.
Let's go. What guys wish girls knew.
What guys wish girls knew? Let's jump right in. So I'll start with some of the things I polled my friends, and we polled everyone who's listening. And just to give a, look at our pool here, we're talking about mainly single men from 18 to 35. A lot of them live in New York because I asked some of my friends personally. They live in Brooklyn. And so we got to just know those things going into this, just so we're all, this doesn't apply to every man out there. And you're listening, you're like, oh, I don't think that, or I don't want that. This is the people that we polled. And so we're going to come to some commonalities. I'm going to go through what I wrote down first. So I'm a little bit of exposing myself here. And forgive me if some of this is just a little bit more direct. But this is a podcast. This is an experiment. And we're just going to go through it. The first one I wrote down was say what you're thinking. And I think men want to know, because we saw a couple more of these. They just want to know. The biggest thing is we don't pick up on subtlety. Men do not understand hints. We don't get subtlety. We do not understand. This is not processed with us as a species. Mm-hmm. Maybe some men do. For the most part, me and my friends will never pick up on it. So we want to know what you're thinking, and we just want to hear the truth. And many women are really good at communicating, but it's beyond communicating. I want to know, just say what you're thinking. Just articulate it if you can. That was the first one I wrote. And again, this is weird because I don't mean.
Well, do we want to go back and forth, or are we reading them all and then?
I think I'm going to read them all, and then feel free to interject when you hear necessary moments that are more revelating than others.
Okay. Well, I just want to jump in right there to start and say that I think yes, some women are very good at communicating. However, I think the majority of women are afraid to communicate because perhaps past experiences where they've been open and they've said what's on their mind and it hasn't gone well. And I think for a lot of us, that happens in an earlier state, in an earlier relationship when we're younger, and when maybe let's say I was 20 and I said something to a guy that I was thinking and I was super honest, and I'm not blaming a guy in the situation. I'm not even thinking of a certain situation, but I think sometimes guys don't know how to handle honesty. And
true. Some guys don't know how to handle.
So I think a lot of women, at least people I know and listeners I've spoken to, I think people feel a little blocked, they can't fully be honest because of past experiences where they've spoken their mind and it hasn't gone well. Yeah,
and I will say that the guys who this list is coming from, me and my friends, one of the big things is the big bolded thing they all responded instantly was we have feelings too. So my group of friends is kind of overly emotional. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Breaking news, guys have feelings. Shout it from the rooftops.
Well, we're going to get to that. Okay, so say what you're thinking was one. Then I kind of pivoted to another one, which is that just because, and this is, I guess, kind of personal, just because I want to have a sleepover doesn't mean I'm implying or insinuating sex. Mm-hmm. I like to have a sleepover because sleepovers are fun. You know, I like to cuddle for a little bit. You get to maybe watch a movie, fall asleep.
Little pillow fight.
You don't have to worry about, is someone going to get home safely late at night? Sleepover does not mean sex.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes I'll be like, do you want to sleep over? And they'd be like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, no, I sincerely don't. I literally am exhausted. I don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to contain, I won't be able to hold, how are we supposed to contain ourselves? I'm like, well, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you get into bed and we
fall asleep. Yeah. So that's one thing. Okay. The whole not engaging and not answering questions, or as we talked about on Hinge, when you have to reply to a prompt and then they accept your request to talk, but they don't answer your question. The whole not engaging, playing hard to get is not cute, and it's kind of really annoying. And we know when it's happening. Mm-hmm. And not showing interest is not hot. That's another one.
Wait, can you say that again one more time?
Not showing interest is not hot.
And one more time.
Not showing interest is not hot.
Thank you. Continue.
This is a controversial one. Unless it's obvious, no one wants to hang out in the morning. And can I just elaborate? And then I want to hear your take. What I mean, you have a sleepover with somebody, which I realize is counter to my sleepover thing. But unless it's obvious, unless it's like, let's go get breakfast or coffee, or let's hang out and watch a movie or make pancakes. Unless it's inherently obvious, I think for the most part, the guys that I hang out with, we don't want to hang around in the morning. We want to just go about it. We have stuff we got to do. We probably got to like poop. There's stuff we want to go recheck the batteries.
As if we don't have to poop?
No, of course I'm not. Did I say that?
You said that you have to poop.
I'm saying I guess my question is, does anyone want to hang out in the morning when, like, I feel like sometimes people are awkward to be like, I don't want to be rude and leave, but like, be rude and leave.
Well, okay.
Or be honest about it.
Well, here's the thing. And this is one of those that came up before. And I like yelled at Jonah and he's like, save it for the episode. I think one of the hardest things about dating is like that initial sleepover and the next morning where it's like, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay or do I go? Because it's like, you don't know. And it's like, you could ask and be like, oh, like, I don't want to overstay my welcome. But like,
yes, that's perfect.
But half the time, you're not going to get the truth. It's like, no, of course, like, stay as long as you want.
Normalize the truth. I mean, somebody once used on me. It's about like breaking down the wall, right? So it's like somebody once used on me. Feel free to kick me out whenever you want. Like,
that's what I say.
And I'm like, oh, that's a great way to put it. So now I say, when I'm at someone's place, I'm like, please kick me out whenever you want me to get out of here. Like, whenever. And then one girl
Your hair looks really weird right now.
Sorry. One girl was like, I'm kicking you out. And I was like, great, cool. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And it was like funny. And it was like it was not like negative. It was like a positive experience.
I just think it's so uncomfortable. And like, I feel like when I've been in that situation the entire time in my head, I'm like, okay, like, does he want me to stay? Does he want me to? I don't know. I can't read him. And sometimes you ask and you really still don't know. And then you're just like in limbo.
Here's the other thing that might benefit, like, and this is just personal. So like everyone who's listening who doesn't relate to this, whatever. And maybe this is because I'm sick in the head. But when a woman gets up and like, it's not rushing out, but like when we wake up maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of hanging out. She's like, I gotta go. And it's kind of like happens before I can like anticipate it. Yeah. I'm like oddly turned on by that. I'm like, wow, I think I like her. So then she like leaving and it's there. I know we don't believe in games, although if you are into games, this is like, here's a tactic. Leave the next morning swiftly, but amicably. Okay. You'll be surprised what the results are. You heard it here on Seeing Other People.
All right, next.
Okay. For the love of God, we like it when you make plans. We've talked about this. Make a fucking plan. Take initiative. Half of these responses are, we like it when women make a date, try to make a date. Take that initiative.
Yeah.
So easy. Personal thing. And me and my friends don't love when there's too much makeup being worn, but that's such a controversial take that I don't really want to go down that path. But like, I'm into the no makeup look. And I know you're thinking, yeah, but even the no makeup look is a little bit of makeup. That's fine. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I have heard that from a lot of guys where like the less makeup, the better. But also every girl needs to feel comfortable in their own skin. Yes. And some girls feel they're most confident and comfortable with a lot of makeup on.
100%.
And that's fine. That doesn't mean that they should have to feel that way. But if that's like, if you love makeup, if putting makeup on is like a hobby of yours, if it makes you feel like a badass, by all means.
By all means do it.
Yeah.
I completely agree. This is another one this is from somebody else. The whole like culture of like hating men is like not cool and like not fun to read. And like, I get there's a lot of bad guys out there and I get there's like a whole movement, like taking down people who are cruel. And I totally support that. But like this idea that Twitter and Instagram dating culture is like men suck. I hate men because you maybe didn't know how to communicate your feelings in the past relationship. It's getting old. Yeah. It's not hot. And it's like hurtful to the good people out there.
Yeah.
And I know that they know there's good people out there, but like, I can't go on Twitter and say I hate women because that's really, and I don't, and nor would I. And like, that's not funny. But it kind of hurts because it ultimately builds up. It's like, to what extent is there a truth? Yet here you are, ironically, if you hate men so much, don't date them. But there they are dating men.
And you might be thinking, because for a second it took a little time for it to click there. But then I'm like, oh, I've seen a million tweets like, I literally hate men.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
I hear that.
And then the last one on my personal list was women never ask me what I'm interested in. And
really?
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's because I probably am I ask a lot of questions on a first date, and I definitely try to keep a conversation going. Because I'm, as you and I both suffer now from, it's like, are we on a date or is this a podcast episode? Right.
Yeah,
so you and I, and just, you'd be amazed how many times I've been on a date and no one's just asked, like, what are you passionate about? What do you do? Or like, you'd be very shocked.
Yeah.
And so you always hear, oh, guys always talk about themselves the entire time. But here's the news. That's not always true. So any revelations from what I've said so far? Because I have a couple more from some of our listeners that I can go into.
No, I think keep going. I think
okay,
I'm jumping in when I
great.
feel passionate.
Well, and on the flip side of passion, someone wrote in that we would also like it if you were curious about what makes us happy in the relationship. What makes
I love that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I love that.
And these are all great talking points when you're on a date.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I think that's so important. I think a lot of us think that finding the person to be in a relationship finding the person to be in a relationship with is the work. But once you get into a relationship, like, there's so much work to be done in order to keep that relationship and have a strong relationship. And I don't think you should be like, oh, well, like, now we're dating. So like, now we're dating. Like, no, now you're dating. So you have to figure out actually like how to make each other happy.
Yeah. Yeah. How to maintain
check in
that.
and make sure that they're getting everything they need from you. Like, and not like physically, emotionally, spiritually, in whatever way. So I think that's really important.
Speaking of physically, the next one was, not all of us are after sex, which is 100% true.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, sex is always like maybe on the bottom of the list. It's so crazy. It's like this whole myth that men are just after sex. There are probably guys out there who are after that. But my friends and I, it is not about the sex.
And as we learned in the fuckboy episode last week, sometimes you might attribute someone's behavior to like, oh, they were just after sex. They're a fuckboy. But that might not have been what they were after at all. They might have really liked you and then over time lost interest, or like the connection faded and it just so happened that you had sex, but that doesn't mean that they were after sex.
Correct. And it ending as a result of the sex is, you could point and say it's ending because you didn't like the Raisinets that I bought at the CVS for the movie that we watched. You don't eat raisins, that
well, that's the thing. It's like, you could go on a few dates and then like have sex in the moment. But like during that date, it's like, oh, like, maybe this person and I aren't really right for each other. You end up having sex because, I don't know, it's in the moment, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you might be thinking in your head, like, oh my God, like all they wanted was just like have sex and then like leave. But that totally might not be the case.
Yeah. And I think culture, unfortunately, makes us think that it was all about the sex when really it was about something else.
Yeah.
Some of us
could have been something you said or did after.
Yeah. Could have been that you were rude to a waiter or something like that, And 100%. So the question is, do you want the truth?
Yeah.
And I don't think people do.
Truth hurts.
Truth is. Some of us want you to be incredibly straightforward. Whenever girls don't verbally communicate with us, we will not know. We cannot read their minds. So there we go, going back to communication.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding.
Playing hard to get is a huge turnoff, because why would I want someone who's not interested? There's a difference between playing hard to get and being hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
There's two different things.
Yeah.
It's okay for a girl to ask a guy out and be assertive.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like that's a consistent thing.
Ladies, ask your man out. Ask them out. If you are talking to someone on a dating app right now, if you are texting someone and you're like, oh no, are we becoming pen pals because they're not asking me out? Ask them out. You do not have to wait.
Yeah.
You do not have to wait. And they will respect it and appreciate it. So do it.
A lot of guys wrote something to the effect of, saying, wow, you look good today will keep me smiling for days. And I've seen that on Reddit threads.
Guys want girls to say that?
Yeah. Guys really want to be complimented.
Yeah.
I think if you think about it, we all have hearts, right? We're all the same. Think about how you feel after a guy compliments you.
I'm really bad at taking compliments, so usually I feel uncomfortable. But
in some capacity, we are all trained to receive a compliment and have some positive effect.
Yeah. I'm sure in my brain's like the part of my brain is lighting up.
Yeah, there's a part of it.
Like my face is getting red.
Yeah. Guys, a lot of people wrote in saying they just want to be complimented in like a chill way.
Yeah.
Taking initiative is attractive. We got there. This is a new one.
Asleep. Ow.
This is a new one. Guys can have a lot of female friends and not be sleeping with them. Interesting.
Yeah.
We like it when girls make the move. It's a big turn on when girls take initiative and do the messaging. Take
initiative, make the move, ask them out, plan a date.
We don't get enough attention physically or emotionally. That's something that one guy said. Be honest with what you are feeling. This is so funny. We want you to take initiative, ask us out. First to kiss, first to ask us how we feel. We don't get hints. Guys, I'm just showing this is the consistency here. Be better. Not being able to banter effectively on chat doesn't mean we are boring in person.
That is an important one.
And that goes to the screenshot of, sorry, not screenshot. Let me just collect my, that goes to a sort of a bigger thought. And I have my concluding ones here. Concluding ones that I think are really profound.
Yeah.
1, we didn't think about it. No matter what you think, it didn't cross our minds. Consistent thing I've heard.
Put that on a billboard.
Yeah, seriously. Well,
put that on a billboard. Make that the background of every girl's phone screen.
I think everyone can identify with the question of like, what are you thinking about? And then when you ask that question, you think they're thinking about something, but you will always be wrong. You will always be wrong. I'll lay in bed and someone will say like, what are you thinking about? And I was like, absolutely nothing.
Well, see, I'm not, when you said that, I'm like reading into that differently. For me, it's like sometimes girls overthink and they're like, oh my God, I wonder if they thought that it was weird when this happened. Or like, I feel like sometimes they'll become anxious because of if like someone didn't text back for a certain amount of hours, or like let's say one thing that I noticed that like girls joke about all the time is like, you can ask like 3 different questions to a guy and like they can only respond to one at a time. So maybe they're like in their heads or in our heads, we might be like, oh my God, like why did he purposely not answer that? Like, what is he thinking right now? And it's like, no, he's not thinking.
Yeah, he's not.
He's just not.
He's just existing. It's kind of like there are certain animals, I think ducks, it's called displaced phenomena. They can't see the future or the past. They only live in the present. There is no like ability to make plans. Like ducks cannot make plans. Some animals can. Like I think goats were recently discovered to be able to think about what they're going to do.
Really?
Yes.
So goats can and men can't.
Yeah, men basically we can't think of anything besides the present. Although I wish that was true because my anxiety would be much chiller. But all right, so that's a big one. And then I'm going to wrap it up with these ones that come from a trusted group of men who I think are good human beings. And all right.
Are they single? Do you want to auction them out to our listeners?
They are single. These guys are single. If you relate to what I'm about to say, DM me. Just because we don't text constantly doesn't mean that we're not interested. Fact. Just because we come off too strong doesn't mean that we want to marry you tomorrow. We just like you. And I fall into that category as well. When I'm first texting someone, I'm talking about plans. I'm really in it.
Yeah.
But that's actually not like to scale. It doesn't mean that I like you any more or any less than I just met you still, but that's the way I'm articulating. Like, I think me, especially, and my friends, we are not people that we open up in certain unique ways over time. But when you go on a first date with me or these people, you get what you're looking at what you bought. There's not like we don't open up. You're going to learn some profound shit. My insecurities, you're going to learn about what drives me and what my dark shit is. And but for the most part, you're getting how different am I now today to you, Alana, than I was on our first date? Beyond knowing the intricacies of
you're the same.
The same.
Yeah.
Beyond the little layer, hopefully layered, beyond the cement in between the bricks.
No, you're exactly the same. I know not a single thing more about you now.
I love that. I want to say this one. I'm going to read it verbatim. This one's going to kind of blow your mind. Just because we talk about making future plans, like we should check out XYZ restaurant sometime, doesn't mean that we want to be in a relationship. It's something to talk about and look forward to, and could end in us happening. It could end in us happening in the future, but should be okay if it doesn't when you've only met a person a couple times. Similarly, being emotionally transparent upfront early on and not having a wall up doesn't mean that we're not ready for a relationship. It's just better to be real with someone and learn earlier if you guys are on the same page and can vibe. When I go pitch, I love the way he articulated that. And when I go pitch like movies, I give it fucking everything I have. Yeah. Because in my world, I'm never going to get 20 minutes with this person again.
Right.
You know, so I want to know that I tried my hardest. Similarly, on a date, why not, to the extent that you're comfortable, put yourself out there?
Yeah, I get that. I agree. I do think, I get what you're saying about the, like, just because we say, let's go to this restaurant, whatever, that doesn't mean that, like, I'm gonna be in a relationship with you. I understand that. And of course, like, you're gonna try and make future plans with someone that you're interested in, even if you don't know that you're gonna date them, marry them, whatever. But I do also see the flip side of that, where it gives hope and builds expectations and gives someone like something to be excited about. So it makes the blow much harder when it doesn't work out, because you've started thinking about all these things that you're going to do together because they brought it up.
Yeah, but that's part of the, that's like, yeah, but that's a two-way street. It sucks equally for the guy to be like, all right, we're not going to go to that place, or we're not going to have these experiences. Like, it's a mutual idealizing that's happening.
Right. True.
I'm going to end the guy one with a poem by, I'm just going to say Jesse Wolfe, and if we have to cut it out, we will.
Hey, Jesse.
I Wish Girls Knew by Jesse Wolfe. I wish girls knew that we actually have feelings too. I wish girls knew that games are boring and playing hard to get is pointless. I wish girls knew that it's hot if they ask us out. I wish girls knew that checking in just to say hi makes our day. I wish girls knew that they have more power than they think they do. I wish girls knew that vulnerability is hot. I wish girls knew that guys know too. Analysis, Alana. What did you say? You said that you think of communication. Yeah. And pretty consistent theme.
Communication, like, girls communicate more. It's okay to ask a guy out. It's okay to make plans. Tell them how you feel. They have feelings too.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. But okay, hold on.
What was the biggest shocker for you on this list?
There's so many. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Question. I'm still stuck on, like, the next morning, like, peace out thing, because it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's hard. But, oh crap, what was I going to say? It's always
talking about leaving in the morning.
No, right before that.
Stuck on plans. I don't know.
Brain fart.
It's okay. Take your time.
Do a little commercial break while I go.
Sure.
Don't come up with a fake sponsor.
No, I won't. But just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this episode, go ahead and support us on Patreon, follow us on Instagram. Even just sharing the podcast is the best we could ask for. Send this to somebody that you think would benefit from it. And if you screenshot the podcast and put it on Instagram, we'll retweet you guys, or reshare you guys. And I hope this is providing some entertainment. Alana, have you remembered what you...
I have. Okay. It works. Okay. So I think my question is, in terms of, like, communicating more, not being afraid to text first, double text, which you didn't even say, but, like, implied, reaching out, like, communicating, letting someone, like, checking in to see how their day is, letting someone know, like, oh, like, you look good. Like, how do you do that without coming on too strong? What's the balance? Especially if guys aren't used to it. Right.
I think if guys aren't used to it, the more casual, the less thought out, the better. I think for the most part, now this is also a hot take, we can tell when there's been a committee.
A group chat.
We can tell when there's been a group chat. And your result is never going to be good. You go to the movies and you see these big blockbusters. You're like, why was that bad? Well, it's because they had 30 fucking people deciding every single thing that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Anything by committee is not good. You want singular vision.
Agree.
And singular vision can come from multiple people, but you have to be aligned. So not coming off too strong over text, that's just checking in, saying, hey, how's your day going? But that's beautiful. It's brief, it's short, it's asking a question, but also if they don't respond to you right away, like if there's there's no need to follow up on that, just keeping it casual and cool. But a nice little check-in, like, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah.
I think we're aligned. That's not coming off too hard.
Okay. Yeah.
You have your phone in your hand like something's
because I'm ready to pull up my questions.
Oh, great. Okay.
I don't have my computer in front of me like you.
Anyway, I hope everyone found that to be helpful. Alana, I'm really excited here. You're going to tell us. You're going to tell us what.
I'm going to tell you a lot.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for What Girls Wish Guys Knew. Jonah, are you ready? How do you feel going into this?
I feel excited.
Are you nervous?
No.
Should we play the nervous game?
I'm not nervous, but we can.
What do you think that the recurring theme is going to be?
I think as I said earlier in the episode, I think it's still going to be about guys being more clear with their intentions.
Yes, you did say that. All right. We need constant reassurance. We have no idea if you actually like us or if you're a fuck. I assume that was going to be fuck boy and it cut off, but I'm not sure. By the way, I did not consult a trusted group of friends. These are all coming straight from your amazing and thoughtful responses on Instagram. Taking the time to actually plan the date with time, location, etc. means a lot in all caps, which Jonah, from my memory, you're great at that.
Planning dates.
Yes.
Yeah. I took it on as it's
Shout
fun.
out Jerry.
It's fun. Shout out Jerry, who helped Aurora in Brooklyn, ferry ride.
Yep.
And rival ride.
Yep.
Vehicles.
I'd rather
girls love vehicles.
I thought I was going to crash, so I don't know about that. But
you haven't seen the episode yet. Okay.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's a Bachelor reference.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen the episode. No spoilers. I'd rather them be flat out honest about not being interested than to be ghosted. Which
Checks
we
out.
are very pro. Send that thoughtful rejection text.
ACT.
Do not ghost. No, ACTT.
T.
Ready? What is it?
Acknowledge. Compliment.
Compliment. Wait, hold on. Compliment.
Terminate.
Thank. Terminate. Thank.
Thank.
Acknowledge. Compliment. Terminate. Thank.
Correct.
It's the key to success.
That's right.
Shout out Jamie and Tanya. Okay. Girls poop. Showering goes a long way. We really, really like plans. The smallest gestures go such a long way. Things could be so much easier if you just communicate what you're actually thinking. We aren't mind readers, so please just say whatever's on your mind. Thanks in advance.
This is amazing.
We overthink when you don't communicate things. Just communicate, man. Check in with us. Tell us where your head is at. Jonah, on behalf of all of the non-communicating men out there, what do you have to say?
Well, I think we do communicate. Well, I think it's not clear where communication needs to exist, and I also do think that we communicate. But I also have learned to communicate, but I'm at a disadvantage or advantage because I got to host a dating podcast that
is true.
Point blank put a gun to my head and said, you need to learn how to communicate.
Yeah, I think what happens here is that, like, I think we girls, I think we're afraid to ask for more communication because I think that might scare a guy away.
Why?
Because it's like, it's so little, but I feel like it might be interpreted as like, oh my God, they're asking so much of me.
No, I'm telling you right now, no. Both people want, it's clear we just did something. Both people want more communication. Yet the communication required to communicate seems to be the problem.
Mind-blowing concept.
Continue.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah, look, the guys are saying they want girls to communicate more.
Yes.
And to tell, okay, look, here, we're breaking this down.
Yeah.
We are asking what guys wish girls. We're getting to the bottom of what guys wish girls knew and what girls wish guys knew.
Yes.
And from these extensive responses that you guys have provided us, guys want girls to communicate more.
Correct.
And to let them know what they're thinking.
Correct.
And to ask them questions.
Yes.
About what they're thinking.
Yes.
And we're reading right now, girls want guys to communicate more.
Yes.
So let's all communicate.
It's much easier said than done, it sounds like. But why?
Like you just said, everyone wants to communicate, but the communication to make that communication happen is not happening.
Correct. But maybe now that we both know that, like, assuming that someone has listened to this episode, you probably now understand that. And therefore, now that it's mutually understood that it's a problem on both sides, it'll be less of a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Continue.
All right. If you give us pure, genuine attention, we will fall in love with you. Plain and simple.
Yikes.
It's true. No, it's not. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
That sounds healthy. Well, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
What? Is that healthy? The idea that if you give me attention, I'll fall in love with you?
It's like, oh my God, he held the door open for me. I'm in love.
Well, that's a kind gesture.
Yeah.
I think my problem with that is...
Oh, no, I know. I meant like relating that into
copy,
I understand that holding a door is not giving attention. But I think that goes to say, I think this person's trying to explain, like, sometimes it feels really hard to actually feel like a guy is giving us the time of day and checking in and communicating and giving us attention, so that when we do, it's like, oh my God, like, this guy is amazing because he's giving me attention. Look, okay, I'm in a group chat with 5 girls, and one of them went on a great first date and was supposed to go on a second date, but had a family emergency and ended up spending the night last night with some of her good friends and just like distract herself from the family emergency. Mm. And the guy who she went on a date with lived nearby where she was hanging out with her friends. And he asked like where she was and what her favorite candy was. And he stopped by to drop off her favorite candy just to be like,
that's really nice of him.
Yeah.
But that's not attention. That's just being a really nice person and, you know.
But it's like being pure and genuine and like.
That's not attention. That's being a good person and making a kind act of a gesture. Yeah. A romantic gesture is different than attention. Also, it's the opposite. We've been trained to hear the opposite. When you don't give someone attention, they're more into you.
So what's the real answer?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Continue. Stressed. What else do...
Okay, I like this one. I really don't like being called sweetie, babe, sexy, gorgeous.
Okay.
I think this is something that needs a discussion. Or like if you don't like being called that, you should speak up. Because I think everyone is different. Like I have friends who are like, oh my God, if this person ever, like if my boyfriend ever called me baby, I would like throw up. Yeah. And other people like, they call each other baby all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that like, if you don't like it, you have to say that. If you do want someone to call you that, you also have to say that.
I agree.
Because otherwise, how do you know?
I agree.
Yeah. But like, I do think it'd be nice if someone's like, oh, like, can I call you like baby? No, that might be weird.
I think it depends on the relationship.
Yeah, I think it depends. All right. If you think you have to cancel a date, then let us know ahead of time.
That seems fair.
If you think you might have to cancel a date, let us know ahead of time. I think I'm speaking on behalf of most girls out there that like it takes a while to get ready for a date. Some people it takes longer than others, but like you have to pick out your outfit. You have to shower. You have to do your hair. You have to do your makeup. You have to get there. And like, of course, guys still have to like shower and get there. But I don't know, like sometimes we'll try on like 6 different outfits.
So will we. Truth.
Okay, fine.
So will we. I try.
But you don't have to do your makeup.
No, but I'm 3 outfits. I'm minimum 3 outfits.
Okay. Typically, well, you tried on 4 outfits for this episode recording.
Correct. Of which you vetoed a couple of them.
We went back to the original one.
We did.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
So, yeah, I think regardless, the respectful thing to do is if you think you're going to have to cancel ahead of time.
Yes.
And here's what I'll say with canceling, even though it wasn't brought up into question. If you are going to cancel, but you actually like mean to see the person, as soon as you are canceling the date, ask for a rain check. Ask when you can make it up to them. Ask when else they are free. When can you see them? Otherwise, they're going to be like just going from this high to this like extreme low of like they were looking forward to this date, looking forward to getting to know you or getting to know you more. And then suddenly the date's canceled. They don't know when or if they're seeing you again. They don't know if you want to see us again. And that's like the worst feeling ever.
Completely agree. And I hope everyone's listening when you say that, because the amount of times I've had to like take over initiative of like, all right, you're canceling, but when do you want to make plans to see each other? As if it's cool to not try to make plans.
Right. And then it's awkward. And then you feel like you're like being almost desperate by asking them. Like,
right. Which is like, you're not being desperate, but they're just being bad at doing this.
Yeah. So remember, like, write this down somewhere.
Yep.
hold yourself accountable, hold a friend accountable. If you are canceling on someone and you intend to see that person, let them know and find out when you can reschedule. And same with the opposite. If you're canceling on someone and you changed your mind and you don't want to see them, also let them know that.
For sure.
It hurts, but it's better to know than to be left wondering.
For sure.
All right. What do we got next? Okay. When it's casual, please don't hang around into the afternoon when you stay over.
Oh, amazing. We all agree. What? Am I wrong?
No. We are
afternoon though. That's a long time. What do you got?
Well, I guess if you're sleeping late.
Yeah.
Well, the funniest thing is like when one person wakes up so early and the other person just doesn't, and it's so awkward, and you don't know if you're supposed to like hit them or like cough, and then
it's here's it. Everyone's got their own sleeping patterns, so it's like you can never. As I've gotten sort of older, I'm like, oh, like I do whatever you want, and I've become more comfortable being like, I'm exhausted. I'm going to sleep till 11 because it's Saturday. I have no reason to be up at 9 a.m. because someone else is here.
Oh my God, sleeping till 11. I've never done that.
I can't really, but I try. Sometimes I'm like, let me just see how long I can stay in bed for. Because I do get up early as well. But continue.
All right. I like this one. We're happy with a single text that says thinking of you.
Sounds like we're all in agreement there.
Mm-hmm. And a follow-up to that one is a text to say, I'm busy today, but I'll call you later, rather than silence is all we need.
Oh, that's nice.
And I 1,000,000% wholeheartedly agree with that. I've both like my friends and I have dated people who like happen to be like very, very busy or like, and we also like have anxiety and get nervous. Like if we don't hear from the person we're dating or talking to, we might start to think like, oh my God, like is something wrong? Are they upset with me? Did I do something? Like, why are they like, I usually get a good morning text. I'm not right now. Like, what's wrong? What did I do? And then like we just begin to spiral and make scenarios up in our heads. And like, yes, that's partially a personal problem, but also like if you can just say it takes 10 seconds. I'm busy. I'll call you later. Or I'm busy, like thinking of you. I'll text you later. Or having a busy day. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
You can do it while you're peeing. You can do it while you're pooping.
Yeah.
You can do it while like your coffee's being made at Starbucks or wherever, you know? It's so simple and it really, really goes a long way.
Agree.
Not just to settle your anxiety, but also to like make you feel respected.
Yes.
Yeah. We aren't needy. We are human.
Okay.
It takes 5 seconds or less to send a good morning or good night text.
Consistency with the good morning or good night text.
Those go a long way, you guys. All right. And the last one that I have here. Oh no, two more.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just like, leave me alone for a bit, please.
Ooh. Okay, maybe no more good night or good morning text then in that case. A little bit confusing. Well,
I think this one seems like it applies to like if you're in a relationship rather than dating.
Okay.
I know the person who sent this.
Okay, copy.
I know the person who sent this one, and
that's interesting. So sounds like a really nice, healthy relationship they've got there. It's like, just leave me alone for a fucking second, Josh.
I mean, sometimes. Sometimes it's fine really does mean it's fine.
Then you got to find different words. And I don't care. I don't care if it's fine. If it's fine, don't say it's fine. Because that's just the wrong word. That's just the wrong word to use. Fine.
But what if it is simply
it's the same as using the word sure. Well, say everything's fine. And then say in parentheses, I know it's a cliche to say it's fine, but I sincerely mean everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's like me typing okay back to you. Yeah, exactly. You're cringing. So yeah, that's my point.
Oh, wait, here's another. No, I read this one. I don't think you responded. Vulnerability is sexy AF. No, I didn't read that.
That's from a guy.
No.
Oh, that we both had.
That was from a girl.
That's great. I have one that's a little controversial take.
What?
And again, I guess I don't really...
You're looking at me with like
I don't really care.
Agenda.
I don't really care that we're like, whatever. This is the whole point of the podcast is to push it. So if my generalization about men is that men don't understand subtlety, I've been thinking like, what's my counter generalization about women? And can I say something? And I don't think this applies to all women.
Yeah.
But tell me if you feel this is true.
Okay.
I think women draw to conclusions really quickly. They jump to conclusions, quite literally jump to a conclusion before fully understanding a situation. Not all women, and I'm talking about romantically mainly.
Well,
is that fair for me to say?
I think that's fair. However, it might seem like it's a jump, but it's really a crawl because
I like that. Okay. What
the
does that
whole
mean?
time we're putting together bits and pieces of information. The way you guys, and specifically the guy who said like, we're not thinking about it, like the way guys tend to not think about things, we are always thinking about things. So every single thing is becoming like an actual piece of research and information that we're collecting in our heads.
So like a massive Wikipedia article.
Yeah. So then when one action or statement or subtlety comes in that can kind of like conclude it all, we come to that conclusion.
Copy. So basically what you're saying is the jumping to conclusions is actually, there's a lot of work that had been done behind the scenes.
We're taking the information that's been given to us and coming to a conclusion, but it's not a jump. But the problem is that you might think it's a jump because in your mind, there's a lot of information that we don't have. But that again might be because of the lack of communication.
Correct. So it sounds like it's a fair thing for me to think, but maybe not the truth. Yeah.
All right. So we should change our podcast title to Please Fucking Communicate.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make a piece of clothing. Well, I think this episode, retrospectively speaking, and we can promote it as such, should be listened to with somebody of whatever desired sex it is. But I think it's an episode that you want to hopefully have a conversation while you're listening.
Yeah.
I do want to get to our user questions because we're at 47 minutes on this awesome episode.
Yes. Okay. All right. We have question number 1. So in today's episode, which was our first episode, we're getting back together. Alana was talking about the struggles of dating when you're constantly on the move, but that at one point she had lined up 5 dates for when she returned to New York City. It made me think about the emotional weight or lack thereof that people put on individual dates. I consider myself an average looking guy. I'm in shape. I have a degree and career and my own apartment, but I haven't been on a date in over 2 years. A combination of confidence issues and living in a small city with a lack of young professionals. In the past, when I've gotten dates, it often feels like there's an added layer of anxiety because in my head, I'm like, who knows how long it will be until the next one. Being able to go on dates with 5 different people in a month is so foreign to me and most in my circle. I'd love to hear you guys talk about this, as I imagine a number of people who tune in are in similar positions.
What is the question? Like less frequent dating?
Like if you aren't able to go on 5 dates a month, like if you're only able, if there are so few people in your area and you're only able to go on really like 1 or 2 dates a month or a year even, how do you not put so much pressure on yourself and on those dates? I think that's a really good question. And I do think that's something that perhaps like those listening and Jonah and I who live in a city where there are too many options that we take for granted. In terms of how to not put too much pressure on it, Jonah, what do you think?
I actually don't know. I think it's just like I think it's like the same as realizing that 5 dates a month is a lot.
Yeah.
It's like out of the ordinary. So it's like, that's an extraordinary circumstance.
Right. There's no normal. Here's the thing. There's no normal. There's no number that you need to be reaching or not, or like if you don't go on X number of dates in a certain time, you're not a failure. You're not doing things right. I think for you, if the person who wrote in, I think if you're saying like part of it was maybe like a confidence thing, I think I would make a goal. Like try and put yourself out there and encourage yourself to go on 1 date a month. And that way, like you're always kind of giving it a little bit of effort to like find the next person you're going on a date with. And you know what? Like you're probably not going to get to 12 months of like 1 date a month, because if you're really putting yourself out there to meet people and to go on 1 date a month, you're likely going to find someone.
Agree.
Yeah.
Good answer. I'm going to read this question from Victoria. So I met this guy in Bumble in July. We both live in the same city, but when we met, he was in another country, visiting his family. We sexted somewhat regularly, and honestly, he was the person to reach out to me saying how he wanted to meet so badly while he was gone. But when he came back, COVID scares kept us from seeing each other at first. But then I finally asked if he wanted to meet, and his response was in the lines of, "I'm not in the mood." So naturally, I was like, "Okay, bye." But he was like, "No, I like you. Let's talk. I'm in the mood, and no, I like you. Let's talk, and my mood might change." He hasn't given me clear indication when we will meet other than after COVID, but says he's interested. We still talk and even sext regularly. He tells me he likes me and even said I'm amazing. We talk almost daily and he responds to my messages within a few hours, but often I find I'm the one doing the initiating, or at least it often feels like it. So it's been like 7 months. I'm not sure what to do. I have feelings for him, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out or what his deal is. I mean, there is a lot of more details that confuse me, but I'll keep it simple here. Would love your advice, Victoria. From what it sounds like, they haven't met. They haven't ever met.
Okay, they haven't met. They've been talking for 7 months.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I would not hold your breath. I mean, like maybe you'll meet, but I definitely would not.
If you enjoy, sorry to cut you off. Continue.
I was just going to say I wouldn't like put all your eggs in one basket. Like, great, talk to him because you guys enjoy talking to each other, but definitely like prioritize yourself and be open to meeting other people.
Yeah, and exactly as Lana said. I just agree.
All right. And on to the next one we have from April. I met a guy on Hinge about a month ago. Our first date was amazing and had seen each other a couple of times a week for a month. We would have a lot of fun together, COVID friendly, great combos, great sex, and we're planning things post-COVID. It felt like we knew each other forever. I made him dinner for the first time before I left for 5 days back to Chicago for Christmas. Everything was fine, and he kept saying that he would be here when I got back. Well, things went completely left when I came back. He blindsided me and told me he enjoyed spending time with me and had a lot of fun, but was no longer interested in seeing me because I was so laid back. My question to you is, did he feel lonely when I left and simply because I wasn't around for 5 days to keep him entertained, he got bored and ended it? Or did he just need a holiday season companion to get through the lonely times? He led me on big time and I have been so confused ever since. Damn.
It's tough. You want to hear more symptoms. Like you want to hear more. It's the surface beats are there. And the easy thing to chalk it up to is he just, wasn't good at confrontation, or maybe there is something else. I mean, from these symptoms, I hear a couple of things. I hear maybe there's an ex that fell back into his life.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, that's 90% of the time.
There's always an ex.
There's always an ex. That's what we learned. You could also say that he's like kind of just, playing around. But at the same time, I don't know, somebody who does you had great combos, great sex, you were planning things, you had fun together multiple times a week.
I mean, here's the thing, like him saying that he was no longer interested in seeing you because you're so laid back, like that is a bullshit excuse. That
doesn't make any sense. That also that's a crazy quote.
That makes no sense.
I would never even, but who says I can't hang out with you because you're so laid back?
What does that mean? What? Yeah, no, that means nothing. That means nothing. So don't take it personally and don't for a second think that you need to be like less laid back with guys in the future because that is simply not true. Do you? Whatever the reason is or isn't, I think that it's obviously unfortunate how it all went down. But on to bigger and better. Yeah, on to bigger and better. Sorry that happened. Anyway, thank you for asking your questions. As you guys want your questions answered on the show, go into DM, follow us on support us on Patreon. We take priority to our patrons. And we're happy to answer your question. We appreciate. We are. And lastly, we have a very fun and hot off the presses dating term of the episode of the week. This one is called Turbo Relationship. A turbo relationship is when your relationship is on overdrive due to the pandemic. Instead of casually dating for a while, you DTR to find the relationship, move in together, or do any other relationship behavior that normally would develop over months or years. Beautiful. We have seen so much of that. Turbo relationship. Turbo relationships are everywhere. If you can't think of 10 right now, you're lying. I wonder if it's like a conscious thing too. Like, do you say to somebody, we're going to enter into a turbo relationship? That'd be kind of funny. It's a good movie title, Turbo Relationship. Turbo Relationship. Anyway, everyone, you know where to find us, all over the socials, all over everything. Support us on Patreon, follow us on Twitter. Just share the episode. That's the most we can ask for. Until next time, I'm Jonah. I'm Alana. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Bye.